Hey everyone, so for the final project for MMIS 6240, I'm doing it over a vet clinic, Arkle Veterinary Care to be specific. So we're going to talk about the company background, their mission statement, the project management and history, current methodology and framework they employ, the assessment of techniques such as what do they do good, what do they do bad, and any impressive processes that I noticed throughout my time shadowing at Arkle. So we've got the company background. Arkle Veterinary Care is a veterinary clinic located in Smyrna, Georgia. The organization was founded by Dr. Roxanne Petit, Dr. Rox, affectionately known, in 2001 after years of working as a mobile veterinarian. Dr. Rox has been with the company for over 40 years. So Arkle believes in treating every patient as if they were their own pet and giving them the same loving attention and care that they do for their own animals. Their objectives are to provide a compassionate care to all clients, ensure the highest level of veterinary medicine is practiced, ensure a safe and friendly environment for staff, and being available for client concerns and questions when needed. So this ties into kind of how Arkle manages their projects, the leadership team. Whenever they decide on an action to be done for these projects, they consult with the leadership team. So we have Grace DeCoste, who is a hospital assistant, Dr. Jacqueline, who is a veterinarian, Rebecca Pease, the practice manager that I spoke with most of the day, and Dr. Roxanne Petit, owner slash veterinarian. All right, so the project management history of Arkle. Project management at Arkle has consisted of various different elements in order to encourage a process improvement or a new process altogether. When speaking to the practice manager, she told me their task was staying up to date on veterinarian journals and identifying when a new process has come out. Uh, Doing so enables the clinic and the practice manager to be aware of all medical regulations and make sure the clinic is meeting those. Improvements that are not related directly to medical regulations, such as just improving quality of life for staff, are usually gathered by complaints from the staff. If there's an issue that has risen more than once, usually the staff will complain. And lastly, this information can be gathered through financial analysis. When talking to the practice manager, she actually wanted to push for a project change in processes, and it was administering IV catheters to surgery patients and letting the vet techs do it and not the doctors. After she ran a financial analysis, she was showing a lack of utilization inside of the organization, relying on only the doctors being able to administer the catheters. It just wasn't making sense to only allow them to do it. So after about 6 years of back and forth, she has finally been able to implement that process. So as far as the successes of project management in Arkle, they improved their break room. They have some waiting room additions that are actually quite neat. Dental radiograph changes they fell more in line with a medical regulation slash efficiency of taking those radiographs. And Clover, which is actually a payment solution services and not a normal point of sale system. So for the break room, it was changed to promote a comfortable and serene atmosphere. The area was repainted. They have chalk paint where the employees can write on the little chalk board almost and kind of encourage employee interaction. There's also a futon for employees to take a nap on their break if they need to relax or recharge their mental health. During my time there, plenty of employees that had to just take a break. I saw them up there, and they definitely seemed to enjoy the break room atmosphere. Uh, as far as the waiting room, what I saw was really neat. They have flags on the doors, and you can flip the flag over to determine whose room this is associated with. What this does is it decreases the confusion and increases the simplicity of the process. With this flag flipped over, the doctor knows exactly what room they need to be in, whether it's a doctor that needs to be in there, whether which doctor needs to be in there. And additionally, Arkle also writes the pet names on the door so that, it reduces the number of questions asked before the doctor or the staff enter the patient room. Dental radiograph changes. Arkle told me their old process for dental pictures was to flip animals on their back and then stomach for the radiograph. Now they have adjusted their processes and flipped the animal head sideways. This sped up how long it takes to complete the task and reduces the number of times the animal needs to be flipped, increasing their efficiency. I believe it was 35 to 40 minutes for how long it takes to get the radiographs, and now it's gone down to 15 to 20 minutes. So it's definitely a huge increase in efficiency and a huge decrease in waste of time. So as far as the last project success that I notated for Arkle had previously used a point of sale system, just a normal point of sale system that was connected to the receptionist's computer, and clients would have to go in there and check out. So when COVID-19 was first introduced, they were having to make clients wait outside to check them in. They would call them in when it was their time to pay their bill. During that time, the practice manager saw a need to have a flexible payment system, and they switched to Clover. Clover is a point of sale solution which enables anyone on the Arkle staff to check clients out anywhere in the building. During the height of COVID, this made Arkle more mobile and increased the ease of access to their clients. This point of sale solution was kept after COVID because it increased efficiency and even enabled a higher quality of life for both the client and staff. So talking to the practice manager, she has been there for over 10 years at this specific clinic. There was very little failures that she could think of. She has a great process of determining what is going to be a good thing for the company and what's going to be a bad thing for the company. So the first one was the puppy talks and kitten talks. This was a way for Arkle to kind of meet a new client, let them know, hey, this is what you're going to have to do for the animal. Basically new pet owners. This was teaching them how to take care of their new pet. They actually had to discontinue this because they just did not have the staff. The way their business runs is on a lean staffing model, and to incorporate this in there, which takes 30 to 45 minutes, this information wasn't as critical to the client as surgeries or other appointments that needed to be done. So they eventually scrapped the puppy talk and kitten talk just because it took too long. The last thing Arkle had a problem with was certain inventory not being sold. So high turnover, low turnover, medium turnover. The practice manager adopted a process known as the ABC process. A was for high turnover, B for medium turnover, and C for low turnover. The process was discontinued due to only 2 people actually maintaining it, and staff members would not have the time to actively check the list or remember what medicines were notated. Now, the current methodology and framework that Arkle uses is what we've discussed in our class. There's not one. There is not one singular framework that every organization seems to use. They seem to almost connect all of these in order to make a hybrid framework work for their organization. So these 2 frameworks don't really have a disconnect. XP and Scrum, they really highlight a bridge of understanding between the 2, and I don't think they're separated. So as far as Scrum, our 5 values are commitment, courage, focus, openness, and respect. I did want to focus on some elements of Scrum. So focus is once a decision is made at Arkle to change a process or add a new one, they only devote their attention to that task until it is completed. They do not get sidetracked. They don't fall for another project. If they have to scrap the project, like said before with the other failures, they scrap the project and go on to the next one. They don't leave it just waiting. As far as XP, our 5 values are communication, simplicity, feedback, courage, and respect. Arkle seemed to take most of their values from XP while also adding Scrum in there because respect and courage are huge. Communication is one of the huge ones that Arkle does. They have a medical and customer service handbook and protocol manual. And it's huge for processes being introduced. When those processes are introduced, they are added to the protocol book, and staff members are also given a handout detailing the new process during these staff meetings to ensure everyone is aware of the new changes. As far as simplicity, the ARCL leadership does what is needed and asked for, but they don't go overboard with changes. The value that they tend to create is maximized, and huge projects tend to be treated as smaller individual projects in order to mitigate the failures. And it creates something that ARCL is proud to stand by. As far as courage, this is a huge one in organizations. You have to be willing to stand up to your boss and explain to them, hey, this needs to be done. This will increase our success as a company. And the practice manager, when she is reaching out in that leadership team and explaining, hey, I think we should update this process, if she gets shut down by the owner, she still feels safe and comfortable in following up on those projects. She believes that if she's going to go follow up on that project, that it does hold great value and importance for ARCL. And she'll talk to Dr. Rocks outside of the leadership team meeting. She'll follow up with her, get a clear understanding of why her decision was no, and what she can do to encourage a more positive understanding of this decision. As far as just the staff at ARCL, they ask for help and accept new challenges when they're approached with a change. Pushback is given nearly to half of the time a process is implemented or tested, and the status quo is always challenged. But if it has the potential to affect the staff's ability to succeed, the practice manager will make sure it gets done. As far as respect is a huge one in every organization. You have to be able to respect that the employee knows what they're doing, and also just respect them as a person. And ARCL treats all their staff members with respect. They know they're capable and independent people, and ARCL as a company realizes that no one person in the company is more important than the other. Without the doctor's attendance, surgeries cannot be done, and without the receptionist, vital time is taken from the practice manager's schedule. Staff members respect the expertise of the leadership team and vice versa. As far as assessment of techniques, strengths that ARCL had were conducting a financial analysis on end of year for the business. That is a huge one. You need to be able to understand your profit margins in this organization and what you can do to increase them, what you can do to decrease overhead cost. And the practice manager does a fantastic job of this. That's how she was able to determine this IV catheter processing change would make sense and ultimately save ARCL more money. One of the huge things or decisions are based on what will ultimately benefit the client. ARCL doesn't do this just for staff. Their end user is the client. So if anything can help the staff to help the client, that is what is viewed as top priority. Leadership team is created for changes in processes and new process implementation. This is huge. Change management is a concept in IT auditing and IT security as a sense. And what ARCL is doing here is creating a change management board. They're not letting these changes be processed unless they've been approved by a select number of people that should have buy-in on this. And it seems to work very well for ARCL. They even implement tests. I mean, they have a 90-day timeline where they implement one of these new processes, and they test that entire process out before completely committing to the change. If it doesn't seem to reach the standards that they want to reach, they'll send it back, and they'll continue using their old process while they're refining the new one. As far as weaknesses, it was hard to find weaknesses inside of ARCL. The practice manager, like I said, does a fantastic job. She communicates with other veterinarian clinics, and they even have a group chat where they discuss business ideas and what can be done to improve each other's organizations. So the practice manager can make decisions financially with no oversight from the stakeholder, which is Dr. Rocks in this case. That does tend to be a concerning thing. However, with the amount of expertise that the practice manager has and the close proximity she has to the founder, Dr. Rocks, it does seem to almost borderline be a weakness / strength. And that's what I noticed with most of ARCL. All of their weaknesses are not weaknesses because of their lack of processes. it's almost due to the fact that they care more about the client and than their bottom line. And lean staffing contributes to a breakdown in these efficient processes. If one member has to call out due to sickness or injury, the staff is usually left undermanned. Arkle has a 3% profit realized, whereas other vet clinics are above 3 to 5%, and good clinics are at an 8% profit. So as far as impressive processes, Arkle utilizes a testing time frame. Like mentioned before, the 90-day timeline from start to finish that determines whether the process being introduced is actually done or if it needs more adjustment/oversight. Clients are being treated as a top priority. That is huge. In any organization, the client, the customer has to be treated as the top priority. That's going to encourage a great brand reputation and a fantastic reputation just out in the community. So Arkle has a low profit yield for the year. I noted this in the impressive processes because it's not the bottom line that's important to Arkle. It's the client. And they're worried about angering clients. They've had issues where clients think they're overcharging them like crazy. And after all overhead costs are done, that's not the case. And Arkle has a lean staffing model. This is directly related to the expenses incurred by Arkle. The way it stands, Arkle is unable to hire another staff member and stay competitive with other veterinarian clinics in the area. However, this cannot be changed unless fees are increased, hence the low profit yield. So in closing, Arkle has shown a robust and adaptable approach to project management practices with the help of Rebecca Pease, practice manager. And shadowing a veterinarian clinic rather than a tech business or just any other kind of business that deals with IT, information security, it was more enlightening. It illustrates that all companies are doing project management, from Fortune 500 companies to vet practices in local Georgia. And lastly, thank you to the staff at Arkle for giving me the ability to interview and shadow for a day at the clinic.